I'm Joe Williams with Bluedog Wire Strippers, and today we're live on site on a demolition project. We've been invited down to show the BWS-80 HD wire stripping machine, and I have my special guest here,
Scott Eisner from.
Awesome. Scott's going to tell us a little bit about what he's doing on this demolition project. Scott.
Roughly we have some transmission wire, we have solid core, we have some 3-wire, 4-wire. We just have a variety of things, and I'm just going to try to walk y'all down through this, and maybe that'll help y'all out in the future running this machine.
Okay, yeah. So what kind of wire are we going to start off with first here?
We're going to start off with some of this 4-wire. This is a bigger wire.
All right. If you wouldn't mind, can you just pick
pretty meaty wire. I mean, I'm very impressed with the machine. I never thought it'd do what it'd do, but y'all are about to see what the machine's about, and a very good investment in my opinion.
Wow, fantastic. How thick do you think this is?
I'm gonna say this right here is probably about 3 inches.
3 inches. 3 inches. Okay, so yeah, show us how you do it.
Okay.
So that was one pass through the machine. 2 passes through the machine. And they're running more than one cable. So right now, peeling off the coating. I'm just pulling out the inside strands while feeding the machine in the background. Look at that. That's some serious money right there. Can you just point that at the camera if you could?
I'm gonna go ahead and run y'all through some transmission wire real quick. This right here you gotta run through twice. I've seen videos of it where people run it all through at one time, and it's really rough on the machine, so I do mine a little bit different. And y'all choose which one y'all like, but I'm gonna show you real quick.
All right.
Yes, it's transmission cable. You can see right here, it's your solid wires right here, and you have a rubber, then you have a copper coating around it, then you'll have like a silicone right here. So what I do is I take the outer layer off first, then I'll work on the silicone layer.
Okay, so, and this is really hard. This is like an XLP Super Duty silicone. It's
yes,
really hard.
Yes,
yeah.
very hard,
right.
Very hard.
Okay, so let's check this out. And what diameter do you think this is? We're over an inch of some sort.
Oh yeah, I'd say 1.5 inches, 2 inches.
So that was one pass through the machine.
Once I do that, now I'm going to put a nice groove in it. You need to sort of, if at all possible, whenever you run something over here, whenever it comes to something like this, it's slick, you need to have you a groove in it, or your blade will try to slide and you'll mess your blade up. So you just need to take care of your machine the best you can, and I'm going to show y'all how to do that. Transmission wire that we just took the coating off of, all right, it'll already have a little groove in it. I like to put one more nice groove in it before I lay it off over here, so I'm going to show y'all how to do that real quick.
All right.
Not yet, man. You gotta run it through this one. Now you see you have your nice little groove in right here, okay? Then once you got a groove, your blade will follow this, and it'll make things go a lot smoother. You have your up and down right here. Adjust it up, away from you's up. Just get her close. Back in. Alright, not enough. Wind her up a little bit. Right.
Fantastic.
Okay, and you see where I don't have no hard razor marks on my copper right here. You don't want to run your blades all down in your copper. Just try to be smooth as possible. You're going to have some skin marks, but just get it good enough to where this stuff will come off and it'll pop right off. Wire, the wire that I put the groove in, okay, I already run it through once, but I got a couple more pieces here I'm going to show you. And like Jeremy said, This is a more complicated wire right here. You got to go through a few more processes to get it, but the machine will do it with no problem. We're going to let y'all see how smooth it goes.
Right, so once again for the camera, let's just show. This is a heavy duty silicone right here. Up in Canada, we call this an XLP, but this is really, really tough on the machine. But they've got a system down pat here that it'll go through it like butter. So let's check this out. Peels off perfectly.
Barely got to put it in there. It'll take it right from you. Always make sure you got your groove right on the blade. Smooth as silk. Flip it over. Smooth as silk.
That's fantastic. Wow.
Easy as pie.
I noticed every so often you guys are knocking it over there. Why are you knocking it?
Well, when we first started, we used channel locks to rip the end a little bit, but we try not to bear down on the machine real hard, so we keep it up as much as possible so we don't tear our blades up. But we do that to knock it off and give it a start, and the machine puts a nice line down and it just rips right off.
Still, but you knock it after it goes through the machine, no?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So after it does that, you find the coating just comes off on that really heavy duty really easily?
Absolutely. Yeah,
right,
it comes off real super easy. Yeah, y'all are fixing to see, this stuff comes off smooth as silk.
Oh, fantastic. So I think one of the main things that you're very sort of aware of when you're running this machine is that you don't want to force anything through here. You want to make sure that it's just lightly going through, that the spring tension is working right, and it just goes through like butter.
Yes, and you want to be sure that you keep your knobs up here even. Try to keep it as level as possible. There might be some wires to where you got to crank one side down a little bit more, but you want to keep it to where your machine's going up and down real smooth, and that way it keeps it nice and even. And also on your hose right here, this is your wire size. You got to keep in mind that the wire, it's the inside of the wire is your main concern. You know, you might have some fat and it might have a little core in it, but I like to go a size below whatever the wire is, because if you try to push it in whenever it's going through, it smashes a little bit and you'll catch your machine up.
Right.
So try to run it maybe a size smaller if at all possible.
You do sometimes adjust the spring tensioners on the top depending on what you're running through?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. This right here, if you're going for pounds an hour, you know what I mean? Like this right here is a good, but this is like a small adjustment. These right here is for a fast adjustment. You know, you can hurry up, raise it up, twist it, and then to fine tune it, I use my handle over here to fine tune it in.
Oh, okay.
This is solid core. You'll have some that has a little white jacket on it, and then you're gonna have some that doesn't have a white jacket on it. But what you got to keep in mind here is this inside wire is still the same size, so you don't have to adjust your machine between things like this. Just make sure you got the same wire going, and then you can run both of these wires at the same time with no problem.
So you're saying the coating isn't as important if you've got the machine adjusted properly?
Exactly. You adjust the machine to the inside, not the outside.
Oh, fantastic. So do you think the spring tensioner on the machine is helping with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, so which piece are you going to run through first?
I'm going to go ahead and run this white piece through first, and after that, I'm going to run all solid.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so let's see this. was whacking the cable there because of the coating. The coating is just so firmly on the core there that it just needs a little bit extra push to get off. Just feeding it through like butter. Look at all the copper going through this. So once again, whacking the coating there just to get it off quicker. And you can leave your gloves on when you whack it like that. Going and going and going.
Alright, that's it right there for the MCM 500.
Awesome, awesome. So
what you see here, the big piece we ran earlier, here's the wire out of it right here. You see how the end on it is, but that's alright. Just feed this on the end in first, you'll be alright. That right there, you have to run it through a little bit bigger and then cut. Just take it back and put it in your next hole. That's good money right there. Good money. You can really, when you get used to the machine, you can hear it working a little bit. And when you put your wire in there, you can sort of tell if it's going to be any good or not.
So if you hear the machine bog down, loosen it up, right?
Loosen it up, yeah. Yeah, you need to, that's what I use my little handle over there for, my fine-tune adjustment.
So which one, okay, so hold on, before you run this next piece through, when you're adjusting the machine, what do you adjust first when you're running it through?
Me, I adjust these first. If I hear something and it's really bogging down, I want to hurry up and get the machine off of it, I'll turn these.
Okay.
And then whenever, if it sounds a little too hard still, then I'll come over here and I'll use my other handle and I'll fine tune it in.
So first you want to run through these, adjust the spring tensioners.
Absolutely.
And then secondary, go for the full adjuster of the roller up.
Exactly, yeah, you just want to fine tune it with that and use this for your main adjustment. That's what I do. To me, it's a lot quicker and you can get a lot more pounds through your machine if you do it like that. When you're using this, always follow your wire all the way to the end. Because when you're stripping in factories and stuff, they'll have cables and stuff on the end. And if a cable gets off up in your machine, you're going to bust your blades up. So when you're feeding this wire through the machine, you follow it all the way through, top to end. When you see it's going to be good, then you can let it go. But always make sure that you don't have nothing on your ends. Oops, sorry about that. But you can hear the machine's barely working. You don't want to bog your machine down. You know,
it's purring. It's like a cat.
Purrs like a kitten. You take care of it, and man, she does you right. Yeah, and this thing, man, we ran it so much. I think we knocked the front doors off of it. We've run probably 80, 100 tons through this thing, and still cutting like a dream. We hadn't even had to put any blades or nothing on it yet. See that right there? That's a little too much.
Yeah. Yeah. You can hear the machine bogging down.
Yeah, you don't want that.
The things when you're running the wire through the machine is it's hard to tell, but it actually puts a score along the edge of the plastic,
yes,
right?
It does. Yes. Yes. What we do, we just take it, and it's already got a score on it. We just take it, hit it across a little anvil right here, and you just push in a little bit, and she peels right out. You can see right here on your score mark.
You want to?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to lift it up just a bit.
Okay, you can see on the back here, you don't hardly see any blade marks at all. That's how you want it. you want to see, if you see any blade marks, you want to see it skip a little bit, because when it's skipping, that means it's hitting rubber on the top and it's not hitting your copper real hard. And it don't matter, it still leaves that line, so it still peels off real easy. But it's very important not to have your blade scrunching down in this wire. If you want longevity, be sure that you got your blade set right and you don't cut your wire all up.
Purring like a kitten is an indicator of that. If you start going in, you're starting to bog it down. Chances are, if it's bogging down, it's going to start digging into the copper.
Yeah, and it squashes it up, and then when you're trying to put it in your bins or whatever, then it's broke and it gets in your hands and all that. So, you know, you got to look out for the stripper also, you know, and like I said, just keep it nice and smooth. And when you got it set right, I mean, you can just sit back there and listen to it and tell by your ear, you know, that it's running right.
When I was looking at buying machines, I thought about getting two machines. The truth is, this machine will process more wire than one or two guys can handle. He fed out way more wire than he can handle, and probably us two together. And so you don't have to look at buying two cheaper machines if you buy one quality machine.
Right on.
And that was my thought process.
Some of the things that made you want to buy the BWS-80 from Bluedog then?
Well, this is going to sound crazy, but when I compared just the sheer weight of the machine, the Bluedog was a lot heavier, and so I had to assume the quality was going to be in the weight. And then after I called and spoke to the sales guy, I pretty much knew that's what I had to go with.
Yeah, and just for everybody that's looking on here, we probably already run about 80,000 pounds of copper through here, and you can see the big old pile of rubber back there that this machine's already done. And like I said, it's got a lot of life to go. I just can't express how good a machine it is.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
That's an awesome machine.
Fantastic.
Now this right here will let y'all see how fast it is. We can run it a lot faster than that. We was just sort of playing around just to give y'all a video. But we can get down a lot faster than that, you know what I mean? But just for a little sample, we'll let y'all see how many pounds we got over there.
What I'm saying is, you know, we're not electricians, we're not professional scrappers. We're people that got involved in the process of doing copper, so we may not know the proper names of this, but the machine itself is easy to run, and once you run it for a day or two, you know, you'll be processing like we're processing, just as fast as you can.
So how much wire do you think that you've pushed out in a day on the high side? How many pounds?
On the high side, we've done 6,000 pounds, Scott.
Yeah, we did 6,000 pounds in one day.
In one day. That's with everything being set, everything, you know, working smooth. Some of your wires are a little bit more challenging. Some days you may get 2,000 to 3,000 pounds on the low side.
Right on. Well, either way, there's still a lot of wire to run through.
Absolutely.
It depends on your help.
It takes 3 guys to run the machine with one guy.
So, sorry, say that again?
It takes 3 people doing this to keep up with one guy doing that.
So the machine strips faster than the guys can keep up with peeling the coatings off.
3 guys can't keep up.
Wow.
Well, we can work at least 2 guys. The guy running the machine can at least work 2 or 3 guys. Easy. Yeah. And on the 6,000 pound day, all of our wire wasn't cut. We was having to stop and cut our wire ourselves, you know what I mean? So if the wire would have been cut and sitting there, I mean, you could probably run 8,000 to 10,000 pounds a day, you know, it's just according to how you got it all set up.
Look at all this copper. And that was a real-time demonstration. How long do you figure we were just stripping there with this? Maybe 15 minutes?
Well, yeah, 15 minutes. 45 minutes. Yeah, but I mean, I could run that we could probably run that in 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, like I said, we're stopping and talking and all that, you know, but when you're straight sticking it through it, really, we didn't feed any wire until the last 2 or 3 minutes of the video. You seen when we was feeding through, so you can just, you know, when we started feeding all that black wire through, you can time it and see what it was, and this is what you get right here.
Awesome. Get this up and see how much actually is ending up on here. So all stripped in real time. What are we at? 248 pounds?
248 pounds. And like I said, that's playing around. You know, we can run it a lot faster than that. That's just doing a video for y'all, but gotta just give you an example. 240 pounds, that's a lot of wire.
In like, how much time do you think again? 15 minutes?
I'm gonna say 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm gonna say about 5 minutes.
Wow.
You can see at the end of the video where we started running all the wire at real speed.
Yeah.
And pretty much you can just take it from that part of the video and, you know, get an estimate yourself.
Wow.
Well, we started off running 15, 20-foot pieces through the machine, and the machine handled it no problem at all.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more difficult to pull the rubber off of it because you literally had to take it and walk 15 feet with it.
Right.
So just for their sake, we cut it a little bit smaller, easier to process.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to process it. It's smaller. You can put it in the bins a lot easier. I mean, it's just a lot easier if it's smaller. Plus, it's easier on your machine if you got a lot of heavy wire sitting in the back and some sitting in the front. It's pushing your machine off. So, like Jeremy said, you know, we just decided to go ahead and run it small pieces.
Himself, he'll process it and make a stack, and then when the help shows up, we'll come over and start stripping it. But it lifts the machine goes so fast, it's unbelievable.
So is this an example of a stack? What is this right here?
Yeah, so if he's by himself, he'll just process it and throw it up here, and then if we got time, somebody come over, grab it, and strip it. It's just that fast, it comes off.
So but still, the machine's going faster than you can keep up pulling everything off.
Way faster.
Yeah.
The machine is literally that fast. And I'm the biggest skeptic. Like when I saw the video, I was thinking, because you know they were processing one piece at a time and stopping and talking, and I'm thinking, well, how good can it possibly be? But after I got the machine, it's that good. And in fact, I called you concerning the product because I was so impressed about it. In fact, I stayed in contact with you because normally you see machines like that and you get it and it's a big letdown. But I called you bragging. I'm like, dude, we processed 6,000 pounds this day. You know, and in fact, I invited you out here to see what we was doing because I think people deserve to see what your machine does.
Hi, I'm here with Scott Heisner. Scott, you're the genius behind the operation here. You figured out the ins and outs of the machine and how to run it. I mean, really, how have you found working with this machine so far?
Well, I mean, it's great, you know, and I've worked with machines a little bit in the past and stuff like that, but I mean, it's really, you know, sort of simple, and like Jeremy said, you gave us some tips on the tensioners and stuff like that, and then after that, you know, we just sort of figured it out, and you just got to have a sound for the machine, you know. You got to care about something for it to work right, you know, and we care about our stuff, you know, and we take pride in what we do, and I'm very impressed with it. I never thought it'd do what it does, but like I said, we're very happy with it.
Right. So, and how much wire do you think you've actually run through here so far on the machine since you've owned it?
I mean, we're guessing 80,000, 60 to 80,000, but I mean, you got to figure too, you know, that's copper weight. You know, we also have all the rubber back there, you know, so I mean, there's been hundreds of, over 100,000 pounds run through this machine with no problem.
Wow, yeah. So the other thing I got to say that is quite impressive, and I was just bragging to Jeremy, is how you've come up with all the different tricks on how to operate this machine. And I think if there's one thing I want to convey to future customers is what you have come up with, and making sure this machine purrs like a kitten. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and the main thing is, you know, if you're going to pick somebody for the machine, pick somebody that cares, you know, about where they work at, you know, because some people's just going to come and, you know, you cram it full of stuff and you don't care what you're working with, you know, you're going to tear it up. But pick somebody, you know, that cares about who they work for, and if they take care of your machine, you know, you're going to make a lot of money.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is definitely a scrap grade machine. We've sold this to a lot of scrap yards, industrial guys, industrial contractors, demolition guys. It's a perfect machine for your application. So one of the things that I just want you to quickly go over while we're talking on the camera here is you were mentioning about dialing this machine in when you had wire, okay? You first go to the spring tensioners up here.
Yes.
So explain to me a little bit about your process when you're running it through.
Okay, well, first off, every morning I make sure I oil it. Make sure you oil it every morning, you know, so everything's working right. But whenever I start, I always make sure my tensioners are even right here. And then I pretty much know my wire, so I'll run it through. And then, you know, if it's sounding like it's a little bit too rough, you know, I'll dial them up a little bit. And then as my wire comes through, I'll reach over and I'll pull it back and I'll look at it. And if it's just got a little skid mark in it, I know I'm good to go. If it's a little short, I just dial it in and loosen it up or tighten it up here.
So, okay, but a couple key things though. You said purr like a kitten, right?
Yes.
So this machine, you want to make sure when you're feeding wire through it that it's not bogged down. It's not being forced.
Right. You don't want it to bog down. I mean, you can hear the machine work, but you just want to barely hear it going. You know what I mean? You don't want to hear it going, like, for example, your generator. When you're running the machine, if you're running it off a generator, if you're running some wire and you hear your generator, revving up, then you're running it too hard. But
that's a good point too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. But you can just hear the machine. You get a feel for it. I mean, it's got a nice sound to it. Very easy to run. And another thing is, you just got to, like I said, it's very important, is the width of the wire. Because if you put a fat wire in somewhere and it starts going over into your rollers, then you're being rough on your machine. So just
when you put a fat wire through, how do you mean a fat wire? Like,
for example, you have your different size hose right here for different size wire, but you don't want to take a wire that's real close to this hole. You want to go to the next wire down if at all possible.
So allow a little bit of slack, if you will, for hole size. You don't want it to be dead nuts, for a lack of a better word.
No, you don't want it to be dead nuts, because whenever your wire's going through, I mean, it's got to compress it. So whenever the wire compresses it, it puts your pressure back here and it'll make your wire swell up. And then it's not going to go through your machine, or your machine's going to have to work double time to pull it through. So I try to go a size down on it. And like I said, once you get a feel for it, you can tell just by when you're feeding it, if it's running right or not, pretty much.
Fantastic. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you guys inviting us down to check out the machine and giving us a demonstration of everything you've done. And yeah, happy stripping.
All right, thank you, man.
Thanks for supporting Bluedog Wire Strippers.
All right.
All right, awesome.